Hi, my name is David Caicedo Gordon. I was born in Quito, Ecuador. I have TESOL certificate, which is Teaching English as a Second Language, and also SLAM, which is Second Language Acquisition Methodologies. I've been teaching English for the last 14 years. Now, our class topic is how to improve your writing skills. This is meant for English level 2 or 3. Are you afraid of writing? You don't have to be, because I'm going to show you an easy way to learn how to write at any English level. Why is it important to write well? There are a number of reasons. Reason number one, writing is communication, and we need to communicate with people around us every single day in our lives. People at work, people at school, at the office, or in your neighborhood. Reason number two, it prepares you for real world tasks such as participating or sending emails, participating in blogs, or sending written attachments, or in business communication, or simply writing reports. Reason number three, which may be the most important reason, you will be happy to communicate your own ideas more clearly, with fewer errors, and you will feel more confident with your English. Now, how can you learn to write well or improve writing? You see this beautiful insect? Well, it's the butterfly. The butterfly goes through a transformation process to become a beautiful insect with beautiful colors and forms. Like the butterfly, an easy way to learn or to improve your writing is transformation. But what does it mean? It means you can rewrite or write again an original correct sentence using other subjects, nouns, adjectives, and verbs. How do you use this method? First, you need to make sure that the original sentences you are writing are correctly structured, that is, with correct grammar. Second, you have to change the subject to I, he, she, we, or they. And then the verb must match the respective subject. In other words, you have to make sure that there is proper subject and verb agreement. Third, you can practice changing the verb tense to past or future. Now let's try step 1. Write good sentences by completing the blank spaces. This exercise is about introducing someone to a group. Let's suppose you want to introduce Evelyn Sue to a group of people. So you have to read information about each person first, then complete the two paragraphs below. Let's start doing the exercise on Evelyn Sue. Okay? The first part. This is, if you're introducing Evelyn Sue, you would say, this is Evelyn Sue. That's her name. But everyone calls her nickname is Effie. That's correct. Now, next, she's years old. So we have to write in here her her age. Her age. That's correct. She's 27 years old. And she's in, so you have to look at her occupation. What's her occupation? Office assistant. That's right. Next, Miss, and her last name, Sue. Miss Sue lives, where does she live? Gotta be careful. Look at other. She lives in Kaohsiung. Okay, you have to write here. She lives, or Miss Sue lives in the place that she lives, Kaohsiung. Okay? But she is originally from a city called, what's her hometown? Cha-yi in Taiwan. Next, her favorite actor is, you just have to write here, Tommy Leung. And her favorite sport is swimming. That's right. Very easy, isn't it? Now it's your turn. You can do this exercise with Jose Antonio Mendez. You can do it as a homework after this class, okay? Let's try now the transformation exercise. We have to change the subject to I, we, or they. What's the subject here? Well, in this case, we were talking about she or Evelyn Sue. Yeah, we were using the subject she or Miss Evelyn Sue. But we're going to use, instead of she, the subject I, we, or they. But in this case, we're going to try with changing the subject in the first person. Example, instead of saying this is Evelyn Sue, you will have to say my name is, okay? My name is Evelyn Sue. Supposing you are Evelyn Sue and that you are introducing yourself. But everyone calls me instead of her Effie, right? Next, let's do it. What's the subject that replaces she? I, yes. And the verb instead of is, instead of saying she is, you say I am. Well, how old are you? Well, 27 years old. And she is in, what's her profession? In this case, you have to say, and I am an office assistant. Next, instead of saying miss, you have to say I. Next, the verb. What's the form of the verb live for the first person? Well, you have to drop off the S and you say I live in, and then the town in Kaohsiung. Very good. And next, but instead of she, I. Instead of this, I'm originally from a city called, what's your hometown? Okay, Chayi in Taiwan. Next, instead of her, the possessive for you, the first person is my. My favorite actor is. Okay? Next, and again, the possessive, my favorite sport is swimming. Okay? Did you understand that? I hope you did. I'm sure you did. Now, with that information, you can continue doing and filling out the correct information in the blank spaces here for Jose Antonio Mendez. That's going to be a little homework for you today after class. So writing is a continuous process. You have to consider these different steps. Pre-writing, which is the part where you start thinking about the sentences you want to write. Then you write the sentence, you check your sentence, you revise it, and finalize it. Let's practice a little bit more. We have an exercise about Jessica Miller and Juan Rainieri. You see these two photographs here in this sheet. Now, I'm going to read. Listen again. Circle the words that complete the ideas. I'm going to use the words in parentheses. Pay attention to get the correct information about each person here. Jessica Miller runs to stay in shape. She tries to avoid fatty foods. She likes desserts, but she avoids chocolate. She always drinks a lot of water. You got the sentences right with the correct verbs and nouns? Very good. Next sentence about Juan Rainieri. To stay in shape, Juan Ranieri goes running and goes swimming. He eats 5 or 6 medium meals each day. He usually avoids sodas and fries. He occasionally eats junk food. So with this information, we can do the exercise, okay? This is the transformation exercise. Jessica and Juan are married and they do everything together. Now rewrite Jessica's paragraph with they. Instead of Jessica, you have to use they, referring to Jessica and Juan, her husband. Example, Jessica and Juan, you don't have to put walk. You have to choose walk, run, or swim. Okay, with information, Ranieri goes running, so both go running. Okay, Jessica Miller runs, or in this case, they, because you're talking about Jessica and her husband, they run. You have to drop off the S. They run to stay in shape. Instead of she, they try. See here? They try to avoid fatty foods. They, what? Like, instead of likes, like desserts. But they avoid. A correct form of the verb for they is avoid without the S. Very good. That's it. Okay? So, reviewing transformation steps. Do you remember the 3 steps? I hope you do. First one, write correct sentences with the correct grammar. That is, using either simple present, past, future, or any other tense. But you have to make sure that you write correct sentences. Number 2, change the subject to I, he, she, we, or they. And remember, you have to make sure that the subject agrees with the verb, or vice versa, that the verb agrees with the subject. And third, practice changing the verb tense to past or future or any other tense. So please, keep on writing. Practice makes perfect. So that's it. Thank you for your attention. Bye now.